The execution chamber gleamed with an otherworldly luminescence, its crystalline walls pulsing with violet energy. Roman knelt in the center, his armored suit battered and scorched from the battle that had brought him here. Around him thousands of Zenari warriors stood in perfect formation, their obsidian exoskeletons reflecting the chamber's eerie glow. At the far end of the vast hall, upon a throne carved from a single piece of meteor stone, sat Queen Kendall. Her presence commanded absolute silence. The Zenari were a species known throughout the galaxy for their merciless efficiency in warfare, and Kendall was their most formidable ruler in 3 centuries. Her 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern across her elegant face, watched the human prisoner with cold curiosity. Roman had been part of humanity's first deep space exploration team. Their ship, the Prometheus, had accidentally crossed into Zenari territory while mapping an uncharted sector. The misunderstanding had escalated quickly. The Zenari had interpreted their presence as an invasion, and within hours, Roman's entire crew lay dead. Only he had survived, taken as a war prize to face the Queen's judgment. "Bring the human forward." Kendall's voice resonated through the chamber, translated instantly by the neural implants all species used for communication. 2 guards dragged Roman closer to the throne. His helmet's display flickered damage during capture, but he could still see the Queen clearly. She was smaller than he'd expected, perhaps only 7 feet tall compared to her 9-foot warriors. But the way every Zenari in the room oriented themselves toward her spoke of her absolute authority. "You are Roman of Earth," Kendall stated, rising from her throne. "Your species violated our borders. Your weapons fired upon our scouts. The penalty is death." Roman said nothing. What could he say? The translator would convey his words, but would they matter? He'd seen what the Zenari did to enemies. Quick deaths were a mercy they rarely granted. Kendall descended the steps toward him, her movements graceful despite her alien physiology. "Before we execute you, I wish to see the face of the creature who killed 17 of my finest warriors." Roman's heart hammered. He'd fought desperately to survive. Yes, hand-to-hand combat in zero gravity, using every trick humanity had learned in its centuries of warfare. The Zenari had expected an easy capture. They'd been wrong. "Remove his helmet," Kendall commanded. The guards hesitated. "Your Majesty, the atmosphere is compatible with human biology. Our scientists confirmed this." "Remove it." One guard stepped forward and disengaged the helmet seals. The hiss of equalizing pressure filled the chamber. Roman felt the alien air against his face slightly humid, carrying scents he couldn't identify. He looked up, meeting Kendall's gaze directly. The Queen stopped. Mid-step, her 4 eyes widened in an expression Roman couldn't interpret. Around the chamber, a ripple of reaction spread through the Zenari warriors. Kendall's hand, which had been raised to signal the execution, slowly lowered. "Impossible," she whispered. Roman remained silent, confused. What had she seen? He was just a human, brown hair, blue eyes, a 3-day stubble, and a scar across his left cheek from the battle. Nothing remarkable. Kendall moved closer, so close that Roman could see the intricate patterns of bioluminescence beneath her semi-translucent skin. Her breathing had changed, become rapid. "Do you know," she said softly, "what you look like to us?" Roman shook his head slightly. "In our oldest texts, before we became warriors, before we conquered the stars, we were artists, poets, dreamers." Kendall's voice carried a note Roman had never expected to hear from her alien warlord. "Vulnerability. Our sacred texts describe the face of the divine, the proportions, the symmetry, the arrangement of features that our ancestors believed belonged to the gods themselves." She circled him slowly, studying every angle of his face. Horizontal eyes, positioned in the golden ratio to the facial dimensions. A singular nasal structure, centered perfectly. The mouth capable of expression through minimal muscular movement. We thought it was mythology. Artistic idealization of perfection that could never exist. Kendall stopped in front of him again. "But here you stand, a living embodiment of our most sacred imagery. The face we've carved into temples, painted in our holiest places, sought in meditation for millennia. And you are not divine. You are merely human." The weight of her words settled over the chamber. Roman finally understood. Through pure evolutionary coincidence, human facial structure aligned with ancient Zenari religious iconography. He wasn't special, he was just astronomically lucky. "Your Majesty," one of the generals spoke up, "surely this changes nothing." He is still silence. Kendall's command cracked like thunder. "Would you have me execute what countless generations of our ancestors worshipped? What our children pray to in times of darkness?" She turned back to Roman. "I do not believe in coincidence. Human, your arrival in our space, your survival against impossible odds, and now this revelation, perhaps the universe has brought you here for a reason." Kendall raised her hand, and the execution platforms retracted into the floor. "I am canceling the execution. Roman of Earth, you will become my advisor. You will teach me about your species, your culture, your world, and perhaps together we will discover why fate has drawn our peoples together in such a dramatic fashion." Roman finally found his voice. And if I refuse, a hint of something that might have been a smile crossed Kendall's alien features, then you would be the first being in Zenari history to refuse a direct commission from the Queen. The penalty for that is also death, but at least you would die having made an interesting choice. Despite everything, the fear, the grief for his lost crew, the absolute strangeness of his situation, Roman felt a laugh bubble up from deep in his chest. I suppose I'm honored to accept, Your Majesty. Good, Kendall said, turning to address her court. Let it be known throughout the Empire humanity is under the protection of the Zenari throne. Any who harm them answered to me personally. As guards came forward to remove his restraints and escort him to quarters, Roman caught Kendall's gaze one more time. In her 4 eyes, he saw not just political calculation or religious fervor, but genuine curiosity. 2 species, meeting by accident, bound now by ancient belief in cosmic coincidence. The future, Roman realized, had just become very complicated, but at least he would live to see it. And perhaps, just perhaps, this strange beginning might lead to something neither humans nor Zenari could have imagined: a bridge between worlds, built on the foundation of one human's remarkably ordinary face.